Hello. So if you can see me, please do let me know that you can see me. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope that you can see me. Hello. Alrighty. I hope you can see me. I can see 13 people watching already. We are live. Today is going to be an interesting class. Um, who was here on the first day live? How was that session? We've gotten lots and lots of feedback, and we're hoping that we would also have more feedback. Happy Sunday. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please let me know that you can see me. Hello, everyone. Please do let me know that you can see me. All right. Please do let me know that you can see me. Please do let me know that you can see me. Okay, I can't see anybody yet, but please, if you can see me, do let me know that you can. Hello, can you see me? Can you hear me? I can see you. Oh, great. All right. All right, great. Great. All right, great. I wanted to be sure. We have 15 people watching. I am hoping that we are over 500 in this class. I am hoping that all of us will be able to log in and at least be live on today's session. We changed the timing for today's session because we wanted a situation whereby everybody who is watching from all over the world will actually be able to connect live, because we know that if we had done this later in the evening, some people might not be able to connect. All right, so you would need to, we're hoping that we're going to have a lot of people. So sorry about that. I was a bit distracted. Okay. All right. So we are up and running. Okay. So let's get to it. How has it been? How has it been since the first module? Today we are looking at module 2, how to master, how to master your emotions. What does it even mean to regulate your emotions? So today, that's what we're going to be looking at. What does it really actually mean when we say emotions regulations? What does it really mean? So today, emotions regulations, I'm going to start by defining emotions regulations. Emotions regulations, first of all, is your ability to effectively manage and respond to your emotional experience. All right? I can't see nor hear you. Someone is saying, I can't see nor hear you. Is it the same for every other person? All right? Let me know as I go forward. Emotions regulation is the ability to effectively manage and respond to an emotional experience. Today, we're going to be talking about how you can regulate your emotions, but beyond parenting, I'm going to be teaching you something that will help you, all right? Go beyond parenting, not just dealing with your children. What I'm going to be sharing with you today will help you to even deal with life itself. Now, I want to say something. I love the responses when we speak. It helps to know that you're here with me. All right. So when you hear a light bulb moment, please help us type it in the comment section. That's one. Number two, when you see, a lot of things happening, and you would also like you to send in your responses as we're going on. Okay. Sorry, let me put on my earpiece and make sure that that is also good from my end as well, so that the background noises will be cleared. All right. So another thing that I'd like you to do is to share the fire emojis. The fire emojis. Share the fire emojis the moment that you are able to hear what it is that we are saying right here, right? When you hear and it makes a lot of sense to you, send the fire emojis. So we want you to write down the quotes that resonates with you the most. We want you to take screenshots of what is happening in here and share on your stories. Again, we also want you to also be here and be present. I'm going to say this. If you're doing some other thing while you're here, please, I beg you, concentrate. This session, we need a lot of concentration, okay? I will need you to be here with me. So take your pen and a paper. Who came to this class with a pen and a paper? Who came to this class with a pen and a paper? Let me see your hand up. So get your pen and your paper and be here with us so that you can jot and then come back to it. I know that a lot of people went back to the session, the first module, and they were blessed with it. So what does it mean to regulate emotions? I said that emotional regulation is, all right, we have a lot of people with pen and paper. Awesome. I have an awesome, student in this session. Yay, my hands are up for you guys. So emotional regulation is the ability to effectively manage and respond to an emotional experience. Now, when you're able to regulate your emotions, it does many things to you, which includes it helps you to enhance long-term well-being. A lot of people who are able to regulate their emotions actually have better well-being, right? It helps you in decision-making. People who have better emotions regulations make better decisions all the time, always, all right? Because they are able to sit back to actually understand what is exactly happening to them, and then they are able to carry it on. People who have better emotional regulations can also have better success in their relationships. Go and look at marriages that work. This is me standing to tell you for free that all the marriages that work, look at the two people in that marriage. You will see that these are two people who have high emotional regulation, system, right, as individuals. Now, I'm not talking about marriages that survive, because what we have around here is a lot of marriages, relationships that survive. And when I talk about relationships, that includes even your friends, right? Even the things, people that your relationship at work, your friends, and all of that. How are they thriving? That is one of the one of the indicators of being able to regulate your emotions, your day-to-day interactions, Somebody said I should repeat. I said it helps to enhance long-term well-being if you're able to manage your emotions. It helps you to actually make better decisions. You stand a better chance of making better decisions when you have better emotional regulation system. It also helps you to have better relationship success. And I said that every marriage that thrives, my husband is a marriage counselor, and I have seen every marriage that thrives, the individuals in those marriages have very, very high emotional regulations. And it's something that is worthy of note. And then it also helps you enhance self-care. All right. It also helps you in your overall better health as well. It's been proven over and again that when it comes to health, when it comes to the way your health is, the way you thrive in your health, it has a lot. It's been linked to your emotional well-being. And then it's also been proven that people who are able to regulate their emotions are actually able to make more money. They are actually able to make more money. So financial stability comes with a lot of emotional regulation. So a lot of people who struggle with their finances, many of the times have been linked to inability to actually manage their emotions. Now, you can't control things that life throws at you. You cannot control things that life throws at you, all right? But we can learn to control our responses. Somebody help me write that. We can't control things that life throws at you, but we can learn to control our responses. I hear a lot of parents come to me and say, it is my children that makes me get angry. It is my children that somebody is making me upset. People don't make you angry. You decide. When you get angry, you decide how you are going to respond. You responded. It's a response. Okay? Whatever it is that you do when you feel something is a response to it. It's not the thing in itself. So when you find yourself responding in such a manner, you need to actually ask yourself questions. Is it this person that is actually making me get to this point? Or is it me that have decided to respond the way I want to respond? I said you can't control the things life throw your way, but you can learn to control your responses. And the reason why you are here is because you want to learn to control your responses. Did somebody help me write that in the comment section? I know we're all writing on our notepad, but I also know that we're also right here listening. So please put it, all right? Put it right in the comment section. You can't control the things that life throw at you, but we can learn to control our responses. Very important. Now that you know why you need to regulate your emotions, now that you know that why you understand that emotions regulations are key. These are the things that emotion regulations can do for you. How do I now become the boss of my emotions? That's the question I asked myself 10 years ago. I'm going to be telling a lot of stories as I'm going through this session. On the first day, Ben led us through, the session where he was talking about the emotionally unaware parent. All right. I was at that point where, I would tell myself, that's who I am. I know a lot of us say that a lot. That's the way I am. What are you talking about? That's who I am. That's the way I am. That's what I know to do. And unfortunately, that robs you of a lot of things. Relationships, financial stability, your well-being. I hear a lot of parents say things like, I just have to yell. No, you don't have to yell. I just have to beat my child. No, you don't have to beat your child. Your inability to be a boss of your emotions is the reason why you think that that's the only way. Because you have also been programmed to understand that that's the only thing that can be spoken, the only language that children understand. And that's a lie. So when it comes to being a boss of your emotions, if you asked me 11 years ago, I would have told you that, what do you mean? I should be able to express my emotions the way I want it, and how I want it, it doesn't matter. And I'm sure that's where a lot of us are. And I can tell you for free that has actually given you more disadvantages than it has given you advantages. I hope we're all connected, and I hope that the people in the class, so that we don't start asking, have we started and all of that. Take screenshots, share with them so that they will also know that we are live. All right. Thank you so much. All right. So it is important. So how do I become this boss? Number one, take a look at the impact of emotions, of your emotions. I want you to sit back and take a look at the impact of your emotions. What is the impact of the emotions that is going on in, at a time, at every point in time? All emotions are good. There is no bad emotions. Every single emotions are good. There's no bad emotions. It's all about how you use it. Emotions regularly get out of hand, all right, because we haven't really understood how it can be used. Now, emotions that regularly get out of hand are emotions, when you have, they lead to, whenever your emotions get out of hand, they lead to, number one, relationship conflicts. Yes, when you cannot manage your emotions, you find yourself having conflict with your relationships. And when I talk about relationships, I am talking about mother, father, in-law, son-in-law, sister-in-law, mother-in-law, father-in-law, children, work, and all of that. I have said this over and again, that our inability to actually, be in marriage relationships, have a settled home, be able to accommodate people, in-laws and all of that, stems from the inability to control our emotions. We were not taught. So it's a big deal. Nobody taught us. So when we say when your emotions get at hand, it strains relationships. Number two, it leads to substance abuse. A lot of people who can control what is happening to them per time actually turn to substance abuse for succor. Another thing that it causes is that it causes reactivity. You're just reactive. You don't think before you do anything. You just react because your emotions are running you. You are not running your emotions. They are not the same thing. Your emotions are controlling you. You do not have a grip of your emotions. And then emotional outbursts. Emotional outburst comes from the fact that you can't get a hold of yourself. That's why something happens and you just, boom, you go off. And you start screaming. You start expressing your emotions anyhow. Again, emotions are not bad. It is what we do with them that determine the name that we actually ascribe to them eventually. So it is not bad to have your emotions. Your emotions are key, especially on your journey as a parent. I've said this over and again, that if you do not have a grip of your emotions, you will make a mess of your parenting journey. I almost did. And anytime I'm grateful to God that I was able to get it right, even before my kids started to go, because it would have been a total mess. It messes it up because in those high moments and inability to express your emotions, you find yourself doing the things that are not right, and then you would justify it in your fury. Meanwhile, that's not getting anywhere. There's no headway at all. Number two, you need to aim for regulation, not repression or suppression. Somebody helping me write? We said number one, take a look at the impact of your emotions. Number two, aim for regulations, not repressions or suppressions. You need to work on you. You need to work on you. And working on you emotional regulation is not a dial. Sometimes you feel that I can just dial it. And that's why parents send me chats like, my child is throwing a tantrum. Can you help me now? Tell me what to do now. There is no magic wand on this journey. I want you to get that. It is a process. I remember that, in our community on Facebook, over 81,000 parents as at today, something happened, where there was a conversation, argument, where the parents were saying, oh, no, it's a lie, you must beat the child and all of that. And there was a particular, some particular people that went off and then, threw some insults and all of that. And then I responded, and then the parents who did that, probably recognized that I wasn't going to throw myself in the mud with them, came back to say, oh, okay, I get it now. I didn't understand what you were saying. People reached out to me, actually the parents in the inner circle. They said to me, Coach, I read through that thread and I didn't see an iota of you going off the hook because of what was happening. He said, I didn't get under your skin. And I said to them, it has taken me over 10 years to get here. I wasn't always like this. So when people talk to me and, I smile, sometimes I would just say to them, I said, I don't think you used to know me, but it's good. All things are passed away, like the Bible will say, right? The second point I said, aim for regulation, not repressions or suppressions. So you need to understand that. Now, we are not saying that you're not going to get upset, disappointed, angry. People have reached out to me to say, do you get angry? Do you get upset? Because every time I have ever reached out to you, even in anger and all of that, you have found a way to just manage it. Do you really get upset? People send me chats sometimes. Oh, they had gotten a product, and maybe they've gone to my team and they are not getting quick responses. Oh, they send me chats. Some people are very rude. Some people send you one long chat and insult you and all of that. I have gotten to a place where I have been able to actually decide what I want to do with the things I'm feeling per time. Let me also say this. The Master Your Emotions Challenge is just a challenge. All right? The course, Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent course, this is an step from that course, right? We decided to put it out there to also help parents who won't be able to get into that course when we announce it. We're going to announce it on the last day. And if you can, it will be, in fact, in the inner circle, I tell the parents in the inner circle that Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent course, Healing from Parenting Hurt, these are the 2 courses that you must do within the year if you're serious about your journey. Except you're not serious. Everything in parenting falls on the altar of how you can manage your emotions. So when you repress or suppress your emotions, you are preventing yourself from 1, experiencing your feelings, and 2, expressing your feelings. You need to learn to experience your feelings. How am I feeling? What is happening to me? And then you will be able to say, because I feel this way and this way, this is why, this is happening per time. Now, when you consciously do this, when you are consciously preventing yourself from experiencing or expressing your thought, it's called suppression. You know what you're doing. You're consciously suppressing the feeling. You can say it, but you just take it away. I remember in the last cohort of Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent, while we were in that cohort, I asked parents in that cohort, so would you say that you need this session? Would you say that this session is important to you? Would you say that you can manage your emotions? Someone actually said to me, I don't get angry, coach. I just came into this session so that I'll be able to have a closer interaction with you. But I don't get angry. I know how to manage my emotions. Let me shock you. Your inability to get upset is a problem. So if you are here and you're saying to yourself, I just want to come and see what they are doing. I don't really get angry. When it is hard for people to make me angry. When people make me angry, I know nobody ever gets me angry. I don't ever get angry. You have a problem. And that's suppression, and that's dangerous. All right? The other kind is repression. That's the unconscious way of preventing yourself from experiencing what you feel. Repression. Repression is terrible. It comes from your childhood experiences. You don't even know that that's what you're doing. A lot of us repress our feelings because growing up, we were told that we had no right to express ourselves. So right now, there's repression going on many things. You're feeling something, you're feeling hot, you're repressing it. You can no longer even recognize that you're feeling something because you're unconsciously repressing it. If you're at that end, that's also a very dangerous place to be. In fact, more dangerous because we are dealing with childhood experiences. ACEs can make a mess. They can make you sick. They can cause cancer. That's the latest research. And when you repress or when you suppress, it can cause anxiety. It can cause muscle pain. You see some people, they are ill, but there's nothing wrong with them. Repression. It can cause depression. It can cause stress, your inability to manage it. One of the things that emotional regulation does for you is that it makes you able to manage your stress. A lot of people reach out to me to say, oh, you do everything that you do. You do everything that you do, but you're not looking stressed. Your ability to manage your emotions can make you look as if you do not have stress. Is there stress in my environment? Oh, trust me, you don't even want to know half of it. But I have been able to build emotional stamina that have helped me to be able to use, my time and still be okay. Because I have been able to, put my emotions in check. I told you that it has taken me 10 years to get here. It has taken me a lot of accountability, a lot of system, a lot of structure, a lot of courses. But you know what? When I look back at how much I have invested in myself to be able to regulate my emotions, I am the most excited person ever. I cannot even begin to tell you what my ability to regulate my emotions have done for me. My ability to run TIP alone is hinged on my very high point on emotional regulation. My ability to actually parent the way I parent is because of my high point of emotional regulation. People have said to me, is it that your children don't do the wrong things? My children do the wrong things. But because of the ability to actually, manage these emotions, it helps you. So as you learn to manage your emotions, ensure that you're not sweeping your emotions under the rug. Ensure that you're not sweeping your emotions under the rug. Number 3, Jessica, you're still asking me. I have been rolling out how you can manage your emotions like a boss. Are you in this class with us at all? Number 3, you need to identify what you are feeling. Anytime a situation occurs, ask yourself questions. Unfortunately, most of us cannot name our emotions. A lot of people, when they are disappointed, say they are sad. A lot of people, when they are uncomfortable, say they are feeling pain. We do not have the ability to describe, name emotions. And if you cannot name emotions, you will find it difficult regulating emotions. So you need to identify what you're feeling. Unfortunately, naming your emotion is a full module in the Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent class, and we might not be able to cover that here. All right, not might, we will not be able to. It's a huge aspect. But if you can name your emotion, you would need to actually begin to tell yourself, oh, I feel this way. I'm going to give a vivid example. So instead of getting angry, all right, for instance, somebody, number 3, I said, identify what you are feeling. Identify what you are feeling. For instance, you have just sent a text to me. Let me use me as an example. And you have sent a text. Oh, I'm going to use a very vivid example. While I was away on my trip recently, I had someone reach out to me. She sent me a chat and I didn't respond for 2 days. The next time I was seeing her chat, she was writing a long episode that was so rude. And when I saw it, I just smiled. A lot of us are on that table. All right? A lot of us are saying, Jessica, if you're not really here, so you need to actually sit back and watch the video at a later time, all right? So I don't keep taking us back. A lot of us are on that table where you send a friend a chat. Your friend maybe reads it and didn't respond. Maybe 3 days later, you send a stinker. You send a stinker. It stems from your inability to manage what you feel. So the next time you feel that way, and by the time I responded to this person and I said to this person, I've actually been on a trip and my number has been off, and I just got, into where I was going, switched on my phone and I saw your messages. She felt stupid. And then she said, oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't even know. I thought that you read my chat and ignored it and all of that, because the chat delivered, read, because at some point my phone was on. Instead of getting angry when things like that happen, interrupt yourself. When I say interrupt yourself, when you interrupt yourself, write down these questions so that you can ask yourself these questions whenever you feel what you feel. Number one is, what am I feeling now? So as you send that chat to your friend and tell, can we have dinner? And your friend doesn't respond. You send a chat again. Before you send that stinker, hold on and ask yourself, what happened to me? Or what am I feeling now? Another example is you call your child, and then your child, does something, and you call your child, the other is not answering, and then you get upset. Before you start yelling, ask yourself, what am I feeling now? Disappointed, confused. A parent reached out to me and told me that she has been listening to me for like 2 years, but she has never believed that her children getting into porn is a function of what she can do. And that she has also, because she's prayerful, so she doesn't believe that can happen to a prayerful person. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. And that when it happened to her, that she remembered a lot of the things I had said. But unfortunately, she was not even equipped. And she said what she did on that day, she regretted it, every single one of it. That because she was not equipped on how to respond, she couldn't manage her emotions, and things went really out of hand. She lost that boy to porn for a very long time. We're still dealing with it as we speak. Why? Because a parent didn't have the ability to respond when an issue came up. Your child comes to you and says, so mom, I have a boyfriend now. Boom! You go off and start raving. Before you do that, ask yourself, what am I feeling now? Disappointed, confused, angry, sad. Sometimes I catch myself and I tell myself, I'm actually really disappointed. What do I do with it? The next question you ask is, what happened to make me feel this way? Why am I feeling this way? Sometimes you will catch yourself when you ask this question, you find out that you're not really feeling this way because of you. It might be because of the child. It might be for a selfish reason. Your child is misbehaving right at the airport, and then you get upset and you beat the child. Before you do that, ask yourself, why? What happened that is making me actually feel this way? Many of the times, you're feeling that way because of shame. The child, really. So what is happening to you is not really anger. You are ashamed that you haven't done well. That shame, anger is a secondary emotion. I think Uncle Ben mentioned that in the first class. That shame or pain is what now accumulates to anger. And then you let loose, and then you descend. And you ask yourself, when you ask yourself, what happened to make me feel this way? You begin to realize that when your child lies, you don't beat your child because your child lied, really. You beat your child because in split seconds, your head tells you your child has lied. Before you know it now, he's going to become a criminal. Before you know it now, that's how it starts. Your head will go in split seconds. You don't think it. It's unconscious. So you react. So what made me feel this way? By the time you ask yourself that question, you might realize that maybe my parents were always, hitting on this thing. And, that is why I feel that this is not, what it is that, it should have been. Okay? The next question you want to ask is, does this situation have a different explanation that might make sense? In that situation where that lady sent me a chat, if she took her time, if she was on this journey of handling her emotions, all right? If it was on this journey of handling her emotions, she would have been able to ask herself, is there a better explanation that might make sense? Maybe she's not in a place where she can respond. Maybe she's going to get back. Maybe I should be a little bit patient. Maybe I should just text back and say something. It could have just been anything. Or maybe this person is ill and is about to die. If you are able to regulate your emotions, you are able to find excuses, and you are able to actually become healthy. Is it okay to tell your child, I'm disappointed at you? Yes, it is okay for you to express yourself. Very okay. The problem is what you do with those expressions. The next question you want to ask yourself is that, what do I want to do about this feeling? What do I want to do? Okay, I feel ashamed that my child was unruly at the party. I know most of us do. But the next question is, what do I now do? If I'm feeling ashamed that my child was unruly, that my child was not kind, my child was this, what do I do? What do I want to do with this feeling? Scream, vent, punch her, or say something really rude. I'm telling you this because I know that this is the same system that I've used. Every year I carved out a system for myself to be able to use on working on my emotions as I grow, every day. Because as you're going, life will throw you more and more difficult things to actually handle. I usually say that when you come in the place of knowledge, the parents in the inner circle will tell you, when you come in the place of knowledge, you feel stupid about your past. When I see parents, the other day I was at the airport, it was a very long flight, 13-hour flight. And this mother was just, in fact, the stress she encountered, I was just looking at her, I felt really bad for her. When I see parents who can manage their emotions, I feel bad. I know that there is a better way. I know because I've been there. So whatever it is that you want to do, this time avails you the time to be able to think of something. Do you want to just say something rude? Or just want to be... Sometimes you feel like, recently somebody sent me a chat, very rude, someone that I know, and then sent it long. Oh, we had decided that this, and then when she finished, I wanted to respond to her. But I decided at that time that I wasn't going to respond to her. It wasn't necessary. Because at that point, what I wanted to do was to test back something rude. But you know what? One of the reasons why I said you should not repress your emotions is that if whatever you feel, you can step back and get back to it. Eventually, I went back to it and I was able to deal with it. If you understand some things, somebody is saying, yes, I feel ashamed when my child is not properly behaved in public. Yes. So the feeling is not really a feeling of anger, it's a feeling of shame. That's what makes you upset. So if you are able to identify the underlying, reasons for some of the things that you do, you are in a better place to actually do things better. All right? Our upbringing made us afraid of people's responses. So the next question you must ask yourself is that, is there a better way of coping with this particular feeling that I feel now? When my children do something, I ask myself these questions. Is there a better way to cope? Is there a better way to deal with this? Because I have come to a place where I realize that no amount of my screaming was going to solve my problem. We're running really late. Let's keep running. Like I said, our upbringing made us afraid of what people will say, how people will think, the things, things people will do and all of that. Now, someone is asking, I'm going to answer this question before we move. When you consider possible alternatives, you are reframing your thoughts. When you consider possible alternatives, you are reframing your thoughts. And this can help you modify extreme situations. It becomes a habit after a long time. When your child is misbehaving in public, first of all, discipline is not an emergency. You need to understand that. When you discipline a child, I'm sure the parents in the inner circle understand what I'm talking about. When you discipline a child as an emergency, you make a mess of it. Because in that time, your emotions are everywhere. Your child's emotions are everywhere. An upset child is not a good listener. So while you want to prove a point to the public that you're doing a good job, you're making a mess. When you get into the inner circle, one of the first things that I tell parents in the inner circle is that your journey is different. There are no two parenting journeys that are the same. People are dealing with whatever it is that they are dealing with and at different stages of their parenting. One of the reasons why people have seen that people hit children in public or shout at them or flog them or whatever is to prove a point to people. It's not to correct the child. Trust me. You're not correcting the child. You're trying to prove a point to the people. So when you do that, you make a mess because there is no emergency in discipline. Discipline is structure. It's not a fire brigade approach. But what you do when you yell and hit is fire brigade approach. It is short-lived. So your inability to manage your emotions is actually short-lived. If you keep using it on your parenting, it backfires. Because your child would never actually listen. So why do you think that you correct your child in public? Tomorrow you still correct them in public. Tomorrow you still correct. Why? What do you think is happening? What exactly do you think is wrong? Because you really, really want to, validate. You want people to validate you. Some of the things that we do on our parenting journey is for validation, for public opinion, because you grew up looking, your parents made you seek validation at every point in time. They made it, if you are a star child, you are being praised. So you were not just loved, you were loved for who you are. If you were less intelligent, you were loved less. So there's this thing about seeking validation. Seeking validation at all times. Until some of the parents got into the inner circle, they said, right now, when people are coming to my house, I reel out the migration plan. And you might not say that, you might, get angry and all of that, but that's my journey. So because there is a system of validation that we grew up with, we're constantly looking to prove a point to people. Stop it. You are not proving any point to anybody. Your biggest goal in parenting is actually to be able to raise a child who can fulfill purpose. If you're not doing that, if you're not on your journey to that, then that's failure. Purpose is the main thing about parenting. So when you realize that, you quit this rat race that you're running, where everybody's just running, looking for who is the best behaved. You can raise a child who is well behaved and yet stupid. I've seen 1,000 of them on my journey. The Bible talks about the virgin that the foolish virgins. You can raise a good child who is foolish. So it's not about a good child, in quotes. It's about a child who can actually fulfill purpose. And you need to recognize that. That's what parenting is about. So your journey, people, I tell the parents in the academy, right, that your journey is personal. When you are an intentional parent, people have asked me, what's the difference between intentional parenting and the parent who is not intentional? We work with a goal. At the beginning of every year in the academy, in the Inner Circle program, you create a parenting goal. At the end of the year, you share with us. And we know where you are. You'll be able to monitor yourself and know what you're doing every year. You're not in a race. You're not in a competition. You're not proving any point on whose child is, has come first or whose child has come second. It's not necessary. My children are getting into secondary school. They're going to be 12 in JSS1. It is my journey. There are things I know that I'm working at. I'm not interested in your child graduating at 13. Honestly, it doesn't flinch me. So we need to get to that point where we understand that our journey is different. And when you understand the concept of discipline, time will not even permit me to, talk about it a lot. There's the discipline that works. That's my book. You can get it on Amazon or get it anywhere you are in Nigeria. If you get to the concept of discipline and how to actually manage it, you will stop this fire brigade approach. Stop it. Get into a process. There is no emergency on this parenting. And that's why you think that when you do a 4-day challenge, you just manage your emotions immediately. That's a lie. Without an accountability system, there's no habit formed. So this becomes a habit after a long time. But trust me, one time, one thing, it's never going to help you. You need a continuous process. You need to be held accountable. You need to be in a system where you understand that this thing actually is a regular thing. It just goes on. All right? Let me move on. And then before I start looking at questions, you need to accept your emotions. Accept all emotions. To practice accepting emotions, try thinking of them as messengers. There was a time that my thoughts, went off. Yes, there was a time that my daughter, she was 4, and she picked up lying. For every time I think of it, I'm like, what I think, it was about me. Was she 4, 5, 4? Yeah. There's a make-believe stage of children where they lie. If you let it, it gets out of hand anyway. But, it just continued. And in my head, I didn't know that I was thinking I was the perfect parent who just projected perfection. You can project perfection to your children and turn them to idiots. Because in your mind, that's the right thing to do. Because you don't know. And I didn't know. I had attended a session, a course on behavioral management. And what it is was a course for coaches. And, I realized that I was the problem, not my child. I had projected a perfectionist system. I had projected an infallibility theory to her. Now, one of those days, one of the things that I learned on my journey is to get to the root of the particular challenge that we are facing and look at misbehaviors like an iceberg effect. And when I started looking at the misbehavior of my child, I realized that, okay, maybe I had actually pushed and, described lying like I never lied, oh, you can't lie and all of that. I don't lie. So, in my mind, I just felt, even as a child, I didn't lie, but that's not true. But these are some of the things that we say without even knowing it. And then I took her out and I said, I told her a story. And I said to her that, when I was young, that this happened to me, that I didn't want to lie to my parents, but I lied because I knew that everybody expected me to tell the truth or do the right thing. And I knew that I didn't do the right thing, so I had to lie. She said, Mommy, that is true. That is just why I lie. Till today, my daughter will not tell a lie. I was able to solve that problem by looking inwards. Me. I could have just made her someone who is very slimy, hypocritical, without knowing that that's what I'm doing. And it was the same perfectionist process that probably my father had pulled, that I just, picked at some point of my journey. But consciously, I've been able to move away from there and be able to actually look at myself. Until you look inward in your journey, you can't make progress. If you keep looking at your children don't need fixing. You are the one that needs fixing. No, your child do not need to be fixed. You do need to be fixed. And the moment you begin to fix yourself, everything turns around. Every single thing. Every single one of them. And you'll be wondering, is it not the same children? Yes, it is. But unfortunately, your children are a product of what it is that you give. Parenting is seed time and harvest time. What you plant, that's what you harvest. You don't harvest what you do not plant. So when you get to a point, you see the infallibility narrative in parenting, right? Your infallibility narrative in parenting is a false narrative. You are not infallible. So never project the perfectionist parent to any child. When you do, you can ruin that child in your process of doing that. All right? So that's why I said accept all emotions. When your children do something, they are angry. Stop telling your children, stop getting angry. Why do you want to tell a child to stop getting angry? I've never been able to understand it. When your child is angry, your duty is to teach your child how to manage their anger, not to tell them to stop getting angry. When you do that, you're teaching them repression. That's what you're doing. You're trying to suppress their emotions. And eventually, when they become older, it becomes repressed. It becomes repressed. You don't want to do that. So to practice accepting emotions, you need to think of them as messages. It's not good or bad. They are neutral. They are useful informations. When you feel ashamed that your child has misbehaved in public, ask yourself, what message is this giving to me? It simply means that you are also looking for validation somewhere. Is your inner child still yearning for validation that he didn't get as a child? These are the questions you need to ask yourself. You need to accept all emotions. Number 5, you need to journal. Journaling helped me get from one point. I've journaled almost all my life since I started my emotions, regulation journey. When I started the Intentional Parents Academy, when we started it, our anchor was emotions. Because I have come to a place where I realize that emotions is the bedrock of everything you're doing in parenting. It is the bedrock. That's why I asked the parents in the inner circle, if your daughter comes home today and says she's pregnant, how are you going to react? I look at the worst scenarios and I ask myself this question. Number 6, you need to learn to take a deep breath. Whenever something happens to you, breathe in, breathe out for some minutes. It will help you to take time to actually process what is happening and also ask yourself those questions I said you should ask that we're identifying how you are feeling. Number 7, you need to learn to learn appropriate communication to help you learn when to express yourself. You need to learn to express yourself. Many of us can't communicate. Nope. Many of us are constantly yelling, even to our spouses. Many of us are constantly not knowing when to say what. Do you know that is a communication skill failure to say anything anywhere? There are conversations I will not have in a session of parents who are not in the academy. I will never, because I understand the skill in communication. For parents who are walking the journey with us, there are many things I can tell them. It's important to know appropriate communicating. There is time and place for everything, including intense emotions. There is time for intense emotions. There's time for intense emotions. So you need to learn it. You need to learn when to step away. You need to learn when to, come back to it. Yelling at your child over a misbehavior won't help both of you. It won't help you. It won't help the child. So you need to learn appropriate communication. I've found that people who are actually yellers yell at the time when they lose communication. It happened to me. So when you learn communication skills, then you begin to see yourself communicate a lot more better. When you lose language, do you know why toddlers throw tantrums? Toddlers throw tantrums because they don't have language. Yes, their inability to express themselves is what makes them throw tantrums. Unfortunately, we don't teach the toddlers how to express themselves. We never actually do. So eventually, these toddlers grow up to become men, women who can't handle their emotions. So we teach them suppression and repression, and at the end of the day, that's what they practice. The ones we don't, suppress, we teach violence. But these two are actually extremes. None of these two extremes are good for a human being. So when you're able to teach a child to manage and regulate their emotions as a toddler, then you're going to have a fine, refined adult. So most of us were not taught. So that's why we're having language problem. We're having communication problem. So you stick to violence the moment you can't communicate because you can manage it. Number 8, you need to learn to give yourself some space. It's okay to distract yourself until you're in a better place to deal with issues. I know about somebody who sent me a chat, and I said to the person, I distracted myself a bit and I came back to it and responded the way I would love to respond. No, somebody shouldn't make you go mad. You should choose to. Do I get angry? Definitely. Do I get sad? Definitely. Disappointed? Definitely. But I've made a choice that I'm going to respond. I am the one controlling the emotions, not the other way around. I choose how to respond every time. Another thing that you must note is that ensure you get back to them. Healthy distractions are only temporal. Don't make them permanent. Don't run away from your emotions. Don't run away from actually confronting the things that you should confront. It's important. Number 9, you can try meditation. Meditation helped me a lot as well, where I'm able to sit by myself, learn to be by yourself. Childhood trauma has actually caused a lot of us to not to like to be by ourselves, but it's something you can teach yourself, a lot. Number 10, you need to reduce stress. Now, I can be as stressed as you, but my ability to manage stress would give me a better chance to managing my emotions. It has been found that people who are stressed, even people who have good emotional regulation skills, also struggle because of stress. The moment you are stressed, you're going to have issues, even whether you know how to regulate your emotions. All right. So one of the things that you can do is to manage your stress appropriately or reduce them. How can you find ways to reduce your stress? Exercise, run, sleep, find a way. Dear mothers, your children are going to grow and they're going to shall live. According to one of my friends, may her still rest in peace, said finally, children are the most selfish people on earth. No matter what you do for them, they will leave. My point is, do your part, but also take care of yourself as well. Do your part, but also take care of yourself as well. Meditation. So reduce stress. Work, sleep if you need to sleep. Don't die. If you do not have the emotional capacity to have more than, if you don't have the emotional capacity to have more than 2 children, don't. If you don't have the emotional capacity, look at the emotional regulation capacity before you begin to have children. It's very important. If not, you kill yourself, you overwhelm yourself. So when people ask me, why do you have only 2 children biologically? The answer is simple. Emotional regulation. This is my apex. This is where I can get to. Some people have the ability to have 10 children. Trust me, it's fine. So it goes beyond financial capability. It's also about you. Very important, right? You need to exercise. You need to catch sleep. You need to go out with friends. You need to create relationships outside of your home. That's why anytime I see parents who say, oh, my children are my friends, I don't have friends. It's your childhood trauma overrunning you. I'm going to talk about that in the next session. Relax. And the last one, if you find out, number 9 is meditation. So if you find out that all of this, you actually need deeper work and all of that, please speak to a professional. Book a private session, something that we can look at and then begin to deal with it. Somebody's already asking a question. We have come to the end of today's module, and your assignment for today's module is to take stock of how your uncontrolled emotions are affecting you day by day. So every time that you want to yell or you don't put your emotions together, ask yourself, how has this affected me? Ask yourself, how has this affected me? What am I supposed to do better? What could I have done, better? And all of that. Okay? What could I have done better? All right? So, how can we teach a toddler how to regulate their emotions? You need to I would advise you, Nathan, that you can get we're going to share the guide on emotions regulation. All right? You'll be able to get, what the answers will be on it. We're going to share it so that everybody will be able to get a copy, right? Okay. So it's actually a paid guide, but we are we decided that this we're going to share for you to get. But if you're looking to actually do a deeper work on your emotions, then you will need to take the course Becoming an Emotionally Intelligent Parent, and most importantly, get into the academy so that you can have a consistent work and accountability system. Assignment, your assignment is to take stock of how your uncontrolled emotions are affecting your day-to-day life. Every time, so journaling, your assignment is that you're getting a journal and you are, and you are going to start the journaling process. So let us journal, 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 journal. All right. So let's start journaling. Today you're getting your journal, and then we will now take stock of how your control. So write it down every day. The whole aim of journaling is to writing down your feelings and responses, they trigger. So when you write your feeling, all right, you write the responses they trigger, and they help you uncover the feeling and then any disruptive patterns. You might have disruptive patterns that you don't know about. So journaling is going to help you uncover it, and then you will now be able to deal with it. All right. So you need your journal, and you need to start today. So between today and tomorrow and next tomorrow, you can share with us what you have actually journaled, the things that you have actually, kept there, right? And I saw a lot of parents, sharing, on, oh, they are yelling, they're still yelling, oh, they still need to beat and all of that. You cannot get in here. There's no magic wand and begin to, and you stop yelling immediately. But trust me, you can work on it. Trust me, there's a lot that you can do when it comes to, yelling at your child. You can stop yelling and you will see a lot of progress on your journey. All right. I would advise you, we have opened registration for the Inner Circle program. I would advise you, not because we run it in the academy, but because I have seen the Inner Circle program change lives. I will advise you that if you're serious about working your intentional parenting journey, you would actually should book a slot and get into 2022 session. By December 1st, when we, roll out the drums, right? We currently have a lot of, people we have already. So by December, we won't be able to take any other person till December 2023 again. All right. So that would really, really help you. All right. Somebody said, give me an example of what to journal. Oh, so your child makes you angry and said, oh, so David made me this. I felt this way. And the trigger was because I have been feeling headache. And then my son came running in the sitting room. I have found that whenever I'm stressed, I'm triggered. Blah, blah, blah. It depends on what it is that you feel, per time. All right. Do we have questions as we round off so that we can get going? Tomorrow, we're going to have Uncle Ben talk about the next module. And then we'll have Tuesday. And then we'll begin to go. How do we write the journal? Just journal what you feel. Like what I just said. My child made me angry and I felt this way. Today, I was really upset because I felt, until you think about it, what I shared with you about being ashamed when your child does something in public, you would think it's anger, but it's actually shame. So I want you to begin to take note of how you feel. Don't push it aside. How do I feel now? This thing that this person did, how do I feel about it? All right? Don't push it aside, okay? All right. I don't think I can see any more questions. If there are more questions, please send us, how do I discipline a child that embarrasses me in the public? You discipline the child with structures and in the home. You don't discipline in public. Discipline is not a public transaction. You don't discipline in public. I would advise you, Chioma Chinwe, right, that you get a copy of The Discipline That Works. That will help you a lot. The book is a full, I can't even share, everything about discipline in this session. This class is not about discipline, it's about mastering your emotions. That's what we're teaching here. We're trying to stay on course, all right? So that book is going to help you. If what you feel is shame, how do you address the emotion? Put it in the comment section. I feel ashamed that my child has done this, and this. And because of this shame, I am upset. Blah, blah, blah. Just say the way you feel. Don't let me prompt you. All right? Don't let me prompt you. Say it the way, even if it sounds stupid, write it. It doesn't matter how it sounds. So there's no validation. Nobody's coming to you to come and look at what you wrote in the book. It's not an exam. Write it the way you feel. All right? Write it the way you feel. Okay, the book is 3,000 naira. Connect to Correct and The Discipline That Works. Get these two books. They will help if you're having issues with discipline. Get the two of them, 3,000 each. The both of them is 6,000 naira, and you can pick up anywhere you are in Nigeria. Just use our store, and if you are outside of Nigeria, just look at it. Look for it in Amazon. 3,000 naira is the price of the book. Are you saying I should ignore my child who is throwing tantrum in public? What do I really do at the moment? So the books will help you in managing tantrums, all right? And no, you should not ignore your child, all right? If ignoring your child is an important aspect at some point in your discipline, yes, you might have to ignore the child, but hitting your child, yelling at your child, and shouting, and all of that is not a solution. That's my point, okay? I think that's how you discipline a child that is on autism spectrum. All right, Cynthia, for children on autism spectrum, you would need to send me a chart, and there's a lot of understanding on that part. It's not a generalized stuff. Okay, so you need to let us understand the degree that we're dealing with. Okay. All right. So if you want to, somebody is saying I should repeat, please catch replay. The replay is here. You can go through again, all right? So catch replay. But number one is aim for regulation, not repression. Number one is take a look at the impact of your emotions, all right? Number two is aim for regulation, not repression. Number four is identify what you are feeling. All right, thank you, everybody. If you have further, we look at the books in Port Harcourt. We have copies in Port Harcourt, Debbie, already. All you need to do is to make payment and pick up. You don't have to wait for me, okay? They are available anywhere you are in Nigeria. My books are available and they don't need to be sent. They are available there. You pay and you pick up. All right. So please do not forget your assignment. You can listen to this again. Yes, replay is available. You can listen to this again. Replay is available. Please send a chat on the on the chat group for how to get the book. You will get it, right? How do I deal with my 6-year-old who is tearing and ripping up books to make paper boats? Yes, your 6-year-old should be tearing and ripping off books to make paper boat. Get him boats. Please do not remove his creativity. What do you want to do? Shut it down? Get him paper boats to make. Go and get, my husband and I went to the office and brought used papers and dumped in one part of our house. Our children tear papers all the time. So it is okay for your child to tear papers and make paper boats and create whatever. Make provision for it. There is no dealing with it. All right? So don't kill the creativity of your child because you want your house to be clean. You must understand where you are on your parenting journey. Until my children turned, I think 7, 8, I never had a glass table. It wasn't necessary in my home. If you come and you think that, oh, my house is not fine because I have children who are at a certain level of their age. Now I have 11-year-olds, I can do whatever because they understand it. You must understand where you are on your journey. You're not in competition with anybody. You're on your own journey by yourself with yourself. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I guess all the questions can be answered right in the group. See you again tomorrow, and do have an amazing, amazing evening. And if you want to register for the Inner Circle, please reach out before we tell you the slots are gone. All right. Bye, and see you again tomorrow.